Alright, we're live. Let's go. This is, I don't know who made this. I hate you guys. Bug, how's it going, man? How you doing? Romero, how's it going, man? How you doing? How are there 2 people in Romero's number 2? This is crazy. Bye. Luvion, Meso, how you guys doing? Let me get this monstrosity off of here. Thank you for that. Love that. Background art goes crazy. Let me... Okay. United, how's it going? Bullseye, username, how y'all doing? Username, ignore, I sent you a message on Discord right now to inform you, but never mind. Background art, I like to think it's pretty good. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it looks pretty good. There's still some fuzziness around here at the bottom. I gotta sort that out, but I mean, I'm not complaining. It looks pretty good, you know? It looks pretty good. Okay, well, we're just getting started. Okay, I think that's the fuzziness taken care of as well. Again, not gonna say it's perfect, especially because I'm kind of screwing it up myself because I'm putting green on green, so it's like it's kind of dumb on me. But you know, we'll see how it's working. You know, we'll see how it's working. How is everyone doing this? Fine. What the fuck? Get that away. Get that dog shit out of here. There we go. How is everyone doing this fine Monday night, Tuesday morning? I don't know what time. I like the art. Thanks, Bug. I appreciate it. I know if Easy joins, I'm going to be pretty pissed. Wrong, because United. How y'all doing, guys? What part is that for? That's when Leonard digs up Klein's corpse. Or, well, Klein's grave. Because the corpse ain't there, you know. I lost the word for grave there for a second. That was great. Justin, how's it going? By the way, is Romero, Justin, there's only a couple of you that's in the 2-month mark right now for memberships. Do you guys like the 4s photo, or do we want to replace that with something else? I don't know. You guys let me know. I feel like I asked this before, but I can't remember if I got an answer. I might have. Silos. How's that? Okay. Sharon, let's go. Oh, we can replace 4s with Sharon. That's, yeah, I don't mind that. I feel like Sharon is like month 3 or something. I already feel like. Let me actually check. I don't know offhand. I feel like Sharon is already up there. What? I didn't put Sharon up there. That's insane. Okay, someone... I'm gonna leave to do Wordle Unspoiled. Okay. This one's not too bad? Okay. Okay, I need some decent Sharon art to replace that with. It needs to be in like a 1x1 format. Most of the members prefer Sharon. I do too, Justin. Okay, I just need like... Okay, I'll look for like a decent Sharon art 1x1, and then I'll replace that after. See. Okay. Shell. Okay. Alright. S something IL. Pushcar, how's it going, man? How you doing? I almost didn't get it today because I forgot about the word. STIL. Stilt. Let's go. We get those. Okay. 5, not the best, but you know, we take those. We take those. There's been too many times that I haven't gotten in front of everyone, so you know what? 5 we'll take happily, okay? thoughts on episode 3? I thought it was pretty good, guy. I thought it was pretty damn good. I know everyone didn't have the same reception. DSV in particular is the one that comes to mind. But I feel like I enjoyed it. Yes, there was stuff that was skipped, but the fight was really enjoyable. And I didn't feel like they skipped anything too valuable. Why the glasses today? I'm just wearing them. I have like distance glasses, so like up close is fine, but like far out is not great. So like nearby, like I'll wear it just but I don't have to. I feel good because fuck you. Same. I liked one more than 2. I think I think 2 is most people's least favorite. The better question is, what was better, 1 or 3? For me, it's close. Farsighted, yes, thank you. For me, it was close. I don't know. I would probably give it a 3, though, but I mean, people can argue. You can have 1 or a 3. They're both fine. Feel good. Splash. Leak. Hello, Bald Wiz. Pushcar, you gotta stop giving him ideas. What are you doing to me? You're killing me. Pushcar, what the fuck, dude? I thought we were friends. You're gonna hit me with that? That's crazy. Okay. Pass, dribble, shoot, block. Good. I wanted to get my eyes checked. Hurts to see when it's far. You might be farsighted as well, then Mezzo. Like, I didn't used to hurt, but like I started to notice, like in class, if I sat like in the back, I would have to kind of strain my eyes to see, and I was like, that's kind of. I also made you Giga Chad though. Fair point. Ankh would be a great Lex Luthor actor. That's like the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Justin. Thank you. Splash, leak. I don't know where that goes. Footprint, secret, source. I felt like they allowed people to exist in the world a bit more than 1 and 2, so 3 was the best for me. I agree. I think 3 was the best, especially like in terms of atmosphere. 1 and 2 felt like jarringly quick. 3 felt still fast, but manageable. Dr. Z, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Source, canary, secret impact, leak, secret, impact, splash, source, no, mark, impact. I keep getting 2 or 3, but not all. Canary, mark, leak, rat. Canary, mark, leak, rat. What would that have? What? Bro, but the bald wizard, it's actually diabolical, guy. It's crazy. It is actually Lex. I feel like if you put bald me on top of Giga Chad me, you get a Lex Luthor me. But then you'd have to have me with glasses, I guess. Wait, no, Lex Luthor does Lex wear glasses? I can't remember this actually. Oh, wait, no, Lex doesn't wear glasses. Lex Luthor. No, Lex Luthor doesn't wear glasses. Okay, never mind. Can I survive? God, it's so good. Hat. Source. That. What? No, the bald me can't. No. We can do the Giga Chad me. Hold on. You can't do the bald me. That's so mean. You guys would do that to me? You guys would throw me under the bus to have a few laughs? No, you guys wouldn't do that. Possibly? No. Okay. Even if we wanted to, Ramiro, I can't do it. We need 2 more members. We need 2 more members to add another emoji, okay? We need 2 more members before we can add one. At that time, when we get 2 more members, we will do a vote, okay? We will figure out. We can either do like a sleepy emoji, I think was in there, a Roselle emoji, a bald emoji, and the Giga Chat emoji. We can add those 4. Whichever one wins, we'll do that one, okay? Well, but we need 2 more members first, so we'll just wait for that. Rat dog leak. I don't know. Susie can go? No, Pushkar, we're not getting rid of Susie. God, you'd get rid of Susie to have bald me up there? Wow. Shows where your priorities are at, dog. Okay, you know what? Just do any 4. I don't care. You guys would get rid of Susie for bald me. Those are some fucked up priorities, guys. What the fuck? 8:56. All right. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I adjusted the camera a little bit. I increased its width so you guys can see more of me, because apparently you guys were like, it's too much head, there's not enough body. Okay, so we fixed that. Hopefully this is better. If you guys still think this ain't great, then I mean, this is as far as I can zoom out with my lens. I might have to get a different lens in the future. But this is the extent. I feel like it looks pretty good. Although in fairness, I thought the previous one looked too good too. Too much head. I was gonna say that, but then I was like, no, wait, that sounds wrong. Was also given its bros having a chest. Also true. Once we get to 100 members, you guys can see all of me. Oh no. Oh. Bro, this YouTube stuff has to work. I'm gonna be unhireable in no time. Plus, actually, there's a benefit of this being here, because then this can just sit like this and it's chilling, you know what I mean? This is great. What are your thoughts about the Mishoku Tensei trailer? I think it looks pretty good, Pushkar. Although in fairness, it was actually, you know what? I watched it last night, like in my half asleep stupor. Let's watch it again. I know most of you aren't Mushoku Tensei fans, but fuck it, it's already here, so let's just watch it, okay? I ain't watching that shit. Alright, hold on. Come on, come on. It will be done in 1 minute, Dr. Z. Come on. He does look annoying as fuck. Oh, wait. Oh, God, this is... No, hold on. Oh, God, this is... Oh, God, we're at this point. No, I don't... Nope, we're done. Oh, I know. Okay, I forgot. Okay, yep, I remember this. Never mind. Hate it. Fuck off. Nope, never mind. I forgot. I forgot where this was at. Oh, God. Sorry, Rudius is so unlikable. Holy dog shit. My God. Oh, God, that was crazy. Bro, he has his wife with his kid with, like, the other women he wants to bang. This is crazy. Oh, get me away from here. In an apartment in the Sherwood Borough, just as Gio entered, she got scent of fried food. She couldn't help but twitch her nose. Force? Would there be anyone else? Force peeked her head out of the kitchen. Do you still remember how long it's been since you stepped in the kitchen? Making toast in the morning doesn't count, Gio said. I chose the food outside because they're better, and now the surrounding streets don't have any good fried chicken. I suddenly had cravings for it. When it comes to Intes cuisine, I like it the most. I received a job, 100 pounds a day, ranging from 3 to 5 days, but I need another helper. Weren't you previously lacking in money? Why don't we do it together? Actually, my financial situation has improved, but a mission that pays 50 pounds a day ain't bad. I'll save up as much as I can. Forrest asked, what kind of job is it? A secretly protected tycoon named Dwayne Dantes. What did he encounter? Will it be dangerous? Forrest asked cautiously. Apparently there was some kind of business conflict and his competitor threatened him. This isn't anything dangerous. As you are aware, the powerful Beyonders in Backland wouldn't dare to take any risks, as it's easy to expose themselves, causing them to be targeted by the Nighthawks and the Punishers. Sounds good, guy. Perhaps the other party's a lunatic. You can't rule that out. While retorting, Forrest naturally thought of the world Gearman. This gentleman was a lunatic who dared to pull off major upsets in Backland. She paused and scooped up the pieces of fried chicken. Since you've already accepted the mission and have nothing coming up recently, let's do it together. By the way, I'm sure like all of you already caught this, but like to me, it's like I just realized this as I was reading it again. Fried chicken is from Intes because Roselle probably created it. And that's why it's Intes cuisine now. It's like it's so clever. It's like tiny little bits. It's never stated anywhere, but like as I was reading, I read it for the third time and I was like, oh, cute. Since you've already accepted the mission and I have nothing coming up recently, let's do it together. It's good too. We'll be protecting him in secret, so no one will discover that I'm a bodyguard. Otherwise, I'll have no way of participating in those literature saloons. Actually, I can tell them I'm experiencing life and gathering material. My next novel will be about a female bodyguard and her male employer. Gio was already used to Forrest's penchant for letting her thoughts wander. She said, let's head over after dinner. Don't get me wrong, while I'm appreciative that we're spamming W's in chat, why are we spamming W's? 160 Bachland Street. Klein had set up a ritual in the master bedroom and headed above the grey fog. He planned on handling some random matters before the bodyguards hired by Butler Walter came. It would be convenient for him to do it in the coming days. Roselle W. Oh, I see. And among these matters, the most important task was to confirm the situation with creeping hunger. Sitting in the seat belonging to the fool, Klein made the human skin glove fly over. After a series of divination, he discovered that creeping hunger was rather stubborn this time. None of the negative side effects had changed. It's a result of Mr. A's corruption, so it's absolutely not going to give up its praise of the true creator. The corners of Klein's mouth twitched as he seriously considered how to deal with the matter. Find another way to threaten it? No. How can I call it threatening? Under the premises of being proactive, I will be engaging in friendly communications with it. Klein muttered silently, I'll be writing to Mr. Azek later anyway. I also need to mention in passing that creeping hunger's seal is no longer effective. Praise the Lord. I can also bring some mushrooms along with me. No, that wouldn't work. Although it'll stop creeping hunger from praising the true creator, it'll make it unusable. I'll get a few of the originally mutated mushrooms from Frank to see if there's any other effects. After determining his thought process, Klein threw Azek's copper whistle and the adventurer's harmonica through the door of sacrifice and bestowment before returning to the real world. He packed up the ritual items and wiped away any traces of the ritual. After leaving the bathroom, Klein went to his desk, took out a pen and began to write, Dear Mr. Azek, it's been a while since I've written to you. I wonder how you've been recently. Due to certain unforeseen circumstances, your seal on creeping hunger is no longer effective. Can you give me the corresponding method? I wish to apply the seal again. Have you heard of creatures known as spirit world plunderers? What level are they, and what kind of characteristics do they have? Where are they usually active? I might be heading to the southern continent in the future. Dude, what? We're going to the southern continent now too? Pushka, you started reading The Climber. That's awesome, dude. Okay. little small tangent for the climber because I adore the climber, like with every piece of my heart. If you just started it, I want to let you know the first little bit of it is basically a shonen manga because it was originally intended to be that way, but then the main author left, and then it kind of spiraled into more of a, not even more, it just spiraled into a seinen by the because the artist basically took over. So just keep that in mind. What you see what you read right at the start won't be indicative of what it's going to become. So just stick with it for a bit, okay? Okay, going back. If I obtain any new information on death, I will write to you as soon as possible. Putting down the fountain pen and reading it twice, Klein folded the letter and blew the whistle. Silently, bones spewed out of the floor as the giant skeleton appeared. The skeleton lowered its head to glance at Dwayne Dantes before bending its back, bending its right hand, and opening its palm. It's become quite polite, Klein nodded in satisfaction. The skeleton didn't stay and immediately disintegrated. Klein silently heaved a sigh of relief as he retracted his gaze and continued writing a letter to Frank. The dried mushrooms you provided were pretty good. Do you have any more? Do you find the idea I previously mentioned viable? If you encounter any difficulties during the research process, please write to me. After folding the letter, he blew into the adventurer's harmonica. He saw Raynette Tyneker appear by his side. She still lacked a head and wore a complicated black dress. Dude, I want to know what the hell is happening with Raynette and Sharon. Do we get to find out soon? Or, like, ever? Because, like, why did she call her teacher? Can you lock on to Frank Lee? Klein asked rather confidently. After all, Miss Messenger was unlike other ordinary messengers. She was a spirit world creature at the demigod level. Raynette's four heads turned in unison and looked at Klein. Yes, it's that man who wants to plant everything, right? Be calm, my child. No, Ramiro, I can't. I want it now. Tell me now. A teacher is teacher. Oh shit. Thanks, Bug. Oh my goat. Wouldn't have thought of that. This fucking guy. Yes, Klein answered. Can locate. I labeled him. Oh, poor Frank. No, the great and powerful Frank. He got Miss Messenger to specially label him. May the goddess watch over him. Please, hand this over to Frank. He will pay you the gold coin. One of the heads in Raynette's hands opened its mouth and bit down on the letter, then it directly entered the spirit world, unable to be sensed again. After dealing with these matters, Klein left the copper whistle and harmonica on him. He went downstairs to have dinner. Midway, Walter entered and whispered to Dwayne's ear. I know, he's such a bitch, dude. If he sends a letter, the other guy pays for it. If he gets a letter, the other guy pays for it. It's crazy. The bodyguards have arrived. It's that Miss Gio and her friend from earlier. I will arrange for them to provide us protection secretly. Miss Gio and her friend? Oh, don't tell me it's Miss Magician. Klein was momentarily at a loss, as all he could do was gently nod. His spirituality actually didn't sense that someone had infiltrated his house. However, this was normal, since it wasn't the time for people to sleep at night. When it was that time, any abnormalities became rather obvious. Therefore, Klein especially used his spirituality to leave undetectable traces at key spots. If the intruder had plenty of ill intention towards him, he would find it difficult to notice them. Three-headed monster. I don't think I know the skit you're referring to, username. In the bedroom at the third floor, Gio and Forrest each took out a window. What? In a bedroom on the third floor, Gio and Forrest each took a window. Through the glass, they looked down at the garden. This is my dream home. When I have enough money, I'll buy a house just like this. No, I'll still choose Backland. There are more delicacies here, and it's more convenient, Forrest said sincerely. This is Backland, though. What do you mean? What? No, okay, thanks, username. With that said, she sighed inwardly. Unfortunately, I have the curse of the full moon, and I can only continue improving myself. Otherwise, I'd have kept the house instead of selling it. Gio traced her gaze and looked outside. I lived in such a place when I was little. Forrest stole a glance at Gio, as she had no idea what to say. So she changed topics. How should we provide protection? When Mr. Dwayne is at the house without any guests, we'll just hide in the room and watch the surroundings to prevent anyone from infiltrating. If there are guests, we'll head to the adjacent room and keep a close attention to any developments. We'll open the door at any moment to save him. If Mr. Dwayne was to head out, the butler will inform us ahead of time. I'll hide behind the carriage to protect him while you follow on another carriage. Gio, you're so professional, Ford seriously praised before chuckling. I saw Mr. Dwayne Dantes' portrait just now. If you hadn't told me that the danger arose because of a business conflict, I would have suspected that it was because of love. After Force, she really is a romance writer. Fucking slop. Jesus Christ. Before Force finished her sentence, she suddenly saw a carriage stop outside the compound. Following that, a few policemen got out. What's happening? She looked at her friend and found Gio equally puzzled. Inside the living room on the second floor, Klein met the 4 officers. Mr. Dwayne, do you know Mr. Quaron? Quaron? Klein tried recalling and remembered that it was the gentleman who sold him the coin company shares. Yes, what happened to him? He committed suicide. In addition, he left behind a will accusing you of forcing him to sell his shares and torturing him, using all kinds of underhanded means, causing him to suffer from depression. And the family has provided proof regarding the contents of his will. Oh, this little fucker. Don't you remember her book plot from Volume 1? No, Dr. Z, I do not remember that. All that being said, she does write slop, so you know what? Even if she only writes some slop, it's still there, so I'm counting it. Poignant. Ooh, love that. Oh, it doesn't tell me. Fuck off. Never mind. Okay. Quaron committed suicide and accused me of forcing him? Klein digested the relevant information and produced questions in his mind. His first reaction was the Baron has taken action. This powerful banker didn't hesitate to carry out his follow-up action after failing to cooperate with me. He didn't hold back. Furthermore, he has clearly gathered enough information to know that Dwayne is involved with the Church of the Evernight and Member of Parliament Macht and the faction backing him. If he were to directly deal with me, it would easily attract trouble. Therefore, he chose to strike at the other end, Quaron. This is even more indirect and safer, and it'd be equally treacherous. This is a disgrace. This is utter disregard of an ordinary person's life. Klein suddenly recalled the innocent people who collapsed during the Great Smog of Backland. He couldn't help but feel a sense of rage bubble up. Klein used his clown powers to remain in control. Are you certain that you weren't joking? If we didn't have sufficient clues to support it, we wouldn't disturb someone like you, the leading officer said. Dwayne Dantes, I'll have to trouble you to follow us to the station for further investigations. Despite looking unperturbed, Klein's mind was racing. Just as he was about to say something, he noticed something illogical. Regardless, murder is a serious crime. With Baron Syndras's identity, status, and social connections, he will have at least a few dozen effective ways of dealing with a foreign tycoon. There's no need to go this far. Klein used his Klein powers? That's what I should use when Klein goes above the Grey Fog. I should just go Klein uses his Klein powers. After all, a member of high society, he will more or less understand or be in contact with Beyonders. He knows that there are all kinds of incredible means to pursue the true murderer. Unless he's completely confident, taking the risk to frame someone is the worst choice. If Syndras were to use his authority to suppress the investigation of the official Beyonders, it'd be It will definitely be more effective and simpler to employ other means. Technically the truth? Exactly, yeah. Even if he temporarily isn't aware that I'm about to work with the military, he's definitely aware of my connection to the Evernight Church. He wouldn't do things in such a simple and brazen manner. More importantly, even if he's the kind of murderer who would kill for 3%, why didn't he do it earlier? He could have held Quaron at gunpoint early on and resolved it without any fuss. I feel like it's gonna be some bullshit like, Ma'am Mary was actually the one who got him killed. What the fuck? Sorry, give me 1 second. I just need to... I heard a loud bang outside. Just need to make sure everything's okay. Give me 1 quick sec. Okay, we're good. We're all good. It's over. They got him. Yeah, I got swatted, boys. It's over. Okay. Klein glanced at the officers in front of him without immediately giving an answer. In an adjacent room, Gio and Forge were leaning against the wall, using the latter's ability to open a small door. They didn't miss any part of the conversation. What do we do? If the police want him, do we still provide protection? Forge, who lacked the experience of her friend, suppressed her voice. Gio was also in a dilemma. Usually a bodyguard only deals with illegal encroachers, but they have given sufficiently sizable remuneration. If he really is imprisoned, are you thinking of breaking him out of jail? Forrest asked. Let's put aside the problem of danger. The way you two would be wanted, and you wouldn't be able to be a bounty hunter again. When the time comes, do you plan on fleeing somewhere else? As she spoke, Forge, who had already come up with a story, discovered that Dwayne had a response. This elegant gentleman with white sideburns turned to look at Walter and said, 2 matters. First, visit Baron Cinders and tell him that someone's trying to frame him. Walter revealed a rare look of surprise and confusion, finding his employer's instructions incomprehensible. From his point of view, this matter was highly likely to be connected by the Baron, or was highly likely to be orchestrated by the Baron. It was pointless visiting him, as it was only result in mockery. Klein smiled. He was a guest recently, and he threatened me for the shares. Following that, Mr. Quaron met his demise. I find it difficult to believe that he wouldn't be under suspicion. Therefore, I believe that it's necessary to warn him. That is what a gentleman would do. Walter was enlightened. Yes, sir. I'll immediately visit the Baron and inform your friends. This way, even if it wasn't done by the Baron, all subsequent troubles would be dealt by him. If he were the mastermind behind this, by involving him in the name of kindly warning him and spreading the news, it would create sufficient pressure from public opinion and would make it easier for Member of Parliament Macht and company to rescue Dwayne. So clever, very clever. But yeah, I agree with Klein's thought process. I don't think the Baron did this. It'd be dumb as fuck. Smart. A good butler really helps. Klein praised as he continued. Second, please call for my lawyer to handle this tiny inconvenience. Oh, he's such a goat. He's like, oh, they think I murdered someone. Tiny inconvenience. Please be sure to tell them to do this quickly. I have tea at 2 o'clock and I'd hate to miss it. Merlin, how's it going, man? How you doing? After instructing his butler and valet, Klein looked at the officers in front of him. Alright, I'll follow you back to the station. I won't make things difficult for you. However, I won't answer any questions until my lawyer arrives. The leading officer heaved a sigh of relief and said, Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Dantas. Forrest asked, Are we hurrying? Yes, I'll hide underneath the carriage and follow it to the station. We can't be certain those police officers are real. What else do you want to say? Nobles and tycoons are terrifying, Forrest said. She was taken aback. She didn't speak further as she walked to the window, supporting herself with one hand and jumping down. Klein slowly becoming Audrey. He's like, yes, this whole matter, it only serves to enrich my lawyer even further. A truly disappointing state of affairs. But as the goddess permits, you're like who the fuck is this guy? After a few minutes, Klein and the two officers boarded a carriage belonging to Dwayne. When he sat down, he looked at the thick carpet, his expression the same as before. I love how even now, he doesn't just get into the carriage of the police officers. He's like, no, you come in my carriage. What, you think I'm going to sit in your bullshit, no carpet having carriage? No thank you, that's disgusting. At the police station, Klein was directly brought into an interrogation room. However, he didn't give any responses regardless of what the officer said. Only when his lawyer arrived did he give an account. He said that he only met Quaron once, and he only mentioned that the negotiation of the share purchase was completely handled by a professional team. Hence, he didn't professionally involve himself in it. He repeated his statement, saying that he was unaware of anything else, and left the interrogator at a loss. After a while, the officer responsible for recording the statement walked in and said, "All right, you may leave. A gentleman with an honorable status has vouched for you and paid for your bail." "Who is it?" Klein asked. "Baron Cindrus." Very good. Klein immediately revealed a smile as he got up, left the room with his lawyer, and before meeting up with his butler and valet. At the entrance to the police station, he met the Baron. This powerful banker's hair was still neatly combed back. "Thank you for your warning, Dantas. Few people would be so calm and sharp when they encounter such a sudden turn of events." Cindrus smiled as he took 2 steps forward, reached out his palm and shook Klein's hands. Klein smiled. "I was simply trusting your character." Cindrus obviously didn't believe such lip service. He found an excuse and with his bodyguard, boarded Dwayne's carriage. As for his valet, he sent him off to his luxurious carriage to instruct the carriage driver to follow behind. As the parasol trees flew by, this is so clever, because Klein simultaneously avoided a potentially hazardous situation and made a strong enemy a friend now. Because Baron Cindrus is going to be like, fuck the 3%, dude, that's whatever, you know? This guy is so clever and so calm or like level-headed that in such a moment, instead of thinking like, oh, I'm framing him, instead of being angry at me, despite our, past encounter, let's call it, he actually sought to help me. Like, dude, this is a man of actual character. I want him at my side, even if it costs me the 3%, fuck it. Oh, it's so clever. It's so clever. Dantas, how did you come to such a judgment? Cindrus spoke first. 2 points. First, I believe that you would have a better solution. You wouldn't do something this violent. Cindrus drank a mouthful of wine as he chuckled. Indeed. The corners of Klein's mouth twitched as he said, "I'm very curious as to what kind of methods you would employ." Cindrus chuckled again and said, "With matters developing this far, it doesn't matter if I tell you. It's very simple. Isn't your goal to enter high society? I plan on hiring women of different ages. They will accuse you on different social occasions that you toyed with their feelings and bodies, but you refuse to be responsible for your actions." I love that. I love that. He's like, bro, we're just going to make you out to be a playboy. Fuck him. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to destroy your character. I haven't even gotten to the best part. If necessary, I'll find a few toddling children to clasp around your legs and call you Papa. He's so clever. He's so clever, dude. Perhaps I might get some civilians to accuse you of seducing their wives and destroying their marriages. What a snake! What a fucking rattlesnake piece of shit! Oh god. This is Lone, a rather conservative place. No one would wish to have a friend like you. Likewise, the church, who values marriage and family, will also distance themselves from you. It will be difficult to clear the air on such matters, but it wouldn't be a big deal. They wouldn't use resources to help do an investigation for you. By the time you find a loophole, your image would be hardened and known by all. How many people do you think will believe your explanation? You're just a newcomer and have yet to build a reputation. You aren't that trustworthy. Of course, if you were willing to accept my conditions, I'd stake my reputation for you. That would be the first step. Now, it won't happen. Klein was almost stunned by what he heard. He found himself too inexperienced compared to this seasoned banker. I believe I should thank you then, he replied with an unfazed smile. Second, if you really wanted the 3% shares, I wouldn't be your match when it comes to wealth. It would be ultimately better to force Mr. Quaron rather than killing him after the sale is completed. Cindrus raised his right hand and chuckled. No, you're mistaken. I was bent on getting that 3%, but you are right on one thing. I did prepare an irresistible offer for Quaron, but he suddenly made a decision and completed the deal very fast. It caught me by surprise. Klein's eyes narrowed as he fell silent. I think I get the picture. So currently, no, hold on. So Quaron, who has the 3%, okay? So on this side of the camp, we have Klein, nope, and Mary, who are looking to buy the shares. And on this side, we have Cindrus, looking to buy the shares. I think there's a third party here who, for whatever reason, wants to screw up Klein. Hence, they threatened Quaron to sell to Klein. And then Quaron killed himself for some reason. And then he put in his will that Klein made him kill himself, pointing at Klein because there's someone over here who has a problem with Klein or something. I don't know in what regards or anything, but that's what I'm thinking, you know what I mean? The Rizzler of Daffodil Street, truly. Returning home, Gio circled the area and entered the third floor again, seeing Force, who had easily entered by using a door if opening. How is it? Nothing happened, right? Force asked. No. Nobles and tycoons are truly terrifying. $8.58. Generous. Ooh. Who's generous? Yes. You know, Mr. Baron, if you would like to give us, like, you know, a couple $100,000, I'm not going to say no, you know. You don't have to. I understand. I did it out of courtesy, but, like, if you were to offer, I ain't saying no, you know. Hold on, I gotta change the music. Why am I listening to... I feel like I was listening to fucking... Okay. On the tiny balcony of the luxurious master bedroom, Klein stood behind a railing in the form of Dwayne Dantes. He watched the Baron's luxurious carriage depart. 160 Buckland Street, Romero. Ramirez, Daffodil Street, and we all nodded, yeah. Home is where the heart is, right, Dr. Z? His mind was still resonating with the conversation he had just had. He believed that there was a secret plot behind acquiring the Coim Company shares from the beginning. According to Cindrus, although the Coim Company has great potential and bright prospects, its current value is only limited to Backland. It's constrained by many conditions, making it not worthy for a powerful banker to place such great importance. After all, even if he didn't succeed, it would only be a difference of monetary profit. Definitely wouldn't result in a loss. For the seller, Quaron, it's very normal to be under external stresses to sell his shares for cash. It's also very normal for him to be unwilling to see money bags, Baron Cindrus from the Conservative Party. But herein lies the problem. As a businessman, faced with deals that aren't considered important, the political inclinations are something to be considered when prices are high. There's no need to reject the possibility of receiving an extremely high premium. Yet, he's deliberately rushed to close the deal with Dwayne before Cindrus could even make his final offer. It's as if he had a grudge with money or views with the Conservative Party. And this doesn't match the current political climate. From the looks of it, someone is forcing Cindrus to do this, and someone has designed a trap, using Quaron's 3% as the bait and me as the cover to lure Cindrus into the trap, wishing to achieve a goal. Klein looked under the street lamps as he, Klein looked at the street lamps under the night sky as he sighed poignantly. I am destined to get lost. Yeah, your sense of direction is truly fascinating to watch in real time, Romero. Based on the assumption, if I hadn't discovered the problem tonight and hadn't sent someone to Cindrus, the subsequent developments definitely would have me crushed by all kinds of seemingly incriminating evidence. And when the military or the Evernight Church found out, there will undoubtedly be twists in the evidence incriminating Cindrus. Okay, Zoro, One Piece reference I can make. That is the correct character. Yes, he's right. As for who the mastermind was and what their true targets were, Klein had no idea. All he could do was confirm that Ma'am Mary likely wasn't aware of the truth, and she could only be used to. She was only used to her anxiousness to preserve control over the company. But do you know the goat Zolo? Environmental protection, new party, Conservative Party, bankers, acquisition, framing. One word after another surfaced through Klein's mind as he seemingly allowing him to see through the present calm and background. He saw the dangerous stirrings behind the surface. All of these words meshed together. Klein suddenly had a thought: revolution. He seemed to catch a whiff of the impending storm. Together with the prophecy of the apocalypse, I wonder how much chaos and madness are brewing in secret. Currently, my main goal is to start from the military and investigate the truth behind the great smog of Backland. If I were to get caught in this maelstrom, there's a high chance I'd be involved in unnecessary trouble. Truer words. If I were to get caught up in perhaps it might expose my powers, preventing me from continuing my act as Dwayne. Klein retracted his gaze and made up his decision. It was to extricate himself from the matter. As for Cindrus' safety, he wasn't worried. First, the former had the Conservative Party backing him, and he had his own faction. With him on alert, it would be difficult for him to suffer any serious harm. Second, Klein didn't have any deeper ties with him, thus providing a warning had already spoken volumes of his character. As for the truth behind the Quaron's death, he had no right to carry out an investigation. All he could do was trust in the Nighthawks. How should I extricate myself? As long as the shares are with me, it implies that I'll ultimately remain center stage. Get Ma'am Mary to acquire them ahead of time? That'll be difficult. She probably doesn't have the money. Sell it to Cindrus? That'd be a violation of the contract. Amidst Klein's flurry of thoughts, he had an idea. His facial muscles twitched for some baffling reason before he relaxed. This was because what he wanted to do was something he had planned on doing but lacked the ability to do so before. Furthermore, it also benefited him by establishing an image, bettering his chances of entering high society. Want to make a note section for the Conservative Party? The Baron, Audrey's dad, and the assassinated guy? I can, Dr. Z. I haven't thought anything politics-wise, but I can. In the room adjacent to the window, Gio and Forbes were observing the streets and gardens. Only when Dwayne Dantas' lights were extinguished did Forbes turn to look at her friends and said in excitement, "Being a tycoon sure isn't easy." If you were him, you might have gone bankrupt in 3 days and been sent to jail. Shios had a glance at her friend and said, I can hire a powerful butler, a lawyer, and capable business secretary to help me. If I always give him good advice, that would be too obvious. I should do useless tips too. Forrest didn't continue putting her down as she said with a smile, if I were you, I would change it all to cash, bonds, and property, and use the annual income to maintain a decent life. Just as she said that, Gio frowned silently. What happened? Forrest tensed up. My spiritual perception tells me that an item or matter related to black magic has appeared. Oh. She's probably sensing the girl. Member of Parliament Mock's daughter. I can't remember her name. One of the biggest advantages of a sheriff was that when they were close, they could sense matters related to evil, chaos, and madness. Black magic. Forrest was considered senior beyond her, so she wasn't unfamiliar with it. Strictly speaking, anything that didn't pass through the 7 orthodox deities was considered black magic. It included ritualistic magic that prayed to certain deities. You think she can sense that far? What, that's only like 2 or 3 houses away, no, Thunder? In the typical sense, black magic referred to the use of blood, flesh, hair, and all kinds of strange items to cast. In the typical sense, black magic referred to the use of flesh, blood, hair, and all kinds of strange items to cast strange spells. It particularly involved evil gods, ones beyond their powers, the spirituality of materials used, and the correct symbols and magic labels. Gio nodded. Yes, it's on the 1st floor. I want to take a look. Stay here to protect Mr. Dantas. Okay. Forrest kept silent. After Gio left the balcony room, Forrest took out Limano's travel, prepared to take action if anything happened. Elsewhere, Gio nimbly and briskly entered the 1st floor. Following her senses, she arrived outside a room. After confirming the target was inside, Gio was surprised as her expression darkened. If she didn't remember wrongly, this room likely belonged to the butler Walter who hired her. What is up with Walter? Can a rose bishop just infinitely sell her organs? True, Pushkar. You know, just, hey, what do you need? I'm willing to sell you 18 kidneys. You guys like, I feel like you don't have that many. He's like, don't worry about it. Not your business. He has a demoness friends who are just, yeah, no, I remember Dr. Z, yeah. Did I remember? I don't know. Maybe I just made that up. Maybe I can't remember. During her daze, the black magic item or matter which triggered her perception vanished. Calmly, she returned to her room as though nothing had happened. That's where the Aurora Order gets their insurance money from. No, at that point they wouldn't even need to pay for insurance, right? They're just like, damn, like, you know, I'm sick. I got cancer. They're like, bro, what part of you has cancer? And they're like, oh, it's like brain cancer. Are you an idiot? We'll just cut your head off at the neck and then you can just regrow the head and you're chilling. How are you this dumb? And you're like, fuck, dude, holy shit. Maybe that's why they have such good insurance policies, because they only have to cover like a small portion of their members, because most of them can just regrow everything. Smart. Sell 1 and you're a good guy. Sell 10, you're a criminal. What a world we live in. I know. You go to the hospital and you say, hey, I have 100 hearts I'd like to donate. Everyone's like, oh my god, where'd you get them? What is this? You're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I thought, bro, I'm saving 100 lives. What is happening, you know? Everyone is fine until the kidney turns into black goo because the Rose Bishop got anxiety. Jiro hurriedly pressed her ear to the door and carefully listened, confirming there was the breathing of a human inside. After waiting for a while and seeing that Walter wasn't doing anything else, she returned to the room. She recounted her findings to a friend and said, "Do we feign ignorance or do we remind Mr. Dantas?" Force thought and said, "Perhaps the butler doesn't have any ill intentions. Let's just keep observing." I have to say that Mr. Duane is a really pitiful person. Not only was he used by others to harm the Baron and get framed, nearly throwing him into jail and losing his reputation, but he also has a butler researching black magic with an unknown motive. I hope he doesn't lose his life because of that. On this front, he's only a helpless commoner. Oh, yeah. Yeah, helpless commoner, truly. If we're unable to determine the butler's intents after the 3 days are over, we should leave a slip to warn him. The next morning, Klein glanced at Walter in a normal fashion while having breakfast. He then took a carriage to the cathedral. After the preachings and prayings, Klein didn't make a donation and instead directly came to the bishop. Is there something? Although this bishop was under immense stress due to the infiltration of Chanis Gate, he was still rather friendly when dealing with his faithful. Klein smiled. "I've recently been involved in certain matters and have come to recognize my true self. I wish to establish a foundation that targets the poor. I hope that I can receive help from the church. I will place the Coin Company shares I have on hand into this foundation, so as to kickstart the initiative using all the funds obtainable from the contract." Elytra was nearly stupefied. By what he had heard, he knew it was a sizable sum. Oh, that's clever. That's a clever way to distance himself from the shares. Oh, very good. Although it wasn't public knowledge how much Duane had spent on acquiring the shares, just from the relevant news, it was estimated over £10,000. And back then, Ma'am Mary was pursued by many men of status who had wealth in the range of tens of thousands of pounds. Therefore, for Duane to suddenly donate more than £10,000 was definitely considered a generous act. In the whole of the Evernight Church, apart from donations from a deceased will, there were only a handful of one-time donations that exceeded this amount. This is an act that deserves all kinds of praise, Electra said from the bottom of his heart. However, I have an obligation to remind you that you shouldn't do something that exceeds your reach. Klein smiled. This isn't a small sum for me either, but it's an acceptable amount. It wouldn't affect my life and business. Elytra's smile gradually turned warm as he said, "The goddess will definitely watch you." I don't know if that's a good or bad thing in Klein's case. I feel like the less gods that have their eyes on Klein, the better at this point. This motherfucker's up to some blaspheming bullshit. Electra continued, "I will report the matter to His Grace and try to organize a charity party for this foundation. When the time comes, I'll invite the goddess's faithful from different domains, powerful aristocrats and their families. Let's see if there are other people who are willing to attend." He knew very well that Duane was attempting to enter high society, hence he deliberately made mention of powerful aristocrats. You know, one for me, one for you sort of thing. Very good. In the bottom, 8:59 and new mushrooms. Oh my god. Damn, where's Unhinged when you need him? We're talking of mushrooms and he's not even here? What's even the point? Seriously, do you guys like this new new setup? I feel like this looks pretty good. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I feel like it's pretty good. Okay. Looks I like it. Looks better. Okay, that's good. Thank you, guys. In the bottom cabin, if we can't see or pour 0 out of 10. Yeah, the background we can do different stuff, right? So like this Leonard one is great, but like any of the ones from this particular artist, I can't remember, like Ocon, something like that. Like any of the ones from this artist we could use. Like he's goated as fuck, dude. This is amazing art. Like, any of these would be great. Osat, yes, thank you. So, oh, Ocon is a F1 driver. That's why I was getting that wrong. I see. I believe women, but correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, shit. Okay. I apologize, but my god, this art is so good. Horse fetish is a new one for me, Justin. You know our cult. It has some truly unique people, Arthur. Never be surprised. You can never be surprised around here, you know. In the bottom cabin of the future, where it was pitch black, Frank Lee lit a candle which illuminated a table covered with flesh, mushrooms, wheat, and fish. He casually pushed the items away and cleared a space enough to accommodate a piece of paper. I thought I was wearing a wig. You bitch, Pushkar. Right on the heels of that, he spread out a piece of paper and wrote, "My dear friend Gearman, I'm delighted to know that you found the dry mushrooms to be pretty good. Perhaps it's more useful than I imagined. When I'm free, I'll take another look at them. As I've been fully focused in mind and body in the experiment you mentioned, I've already stopped all other creations. Most of the mushrooms have been burned by Nina, leaving me with the last 3. I hope it will be of help to you. Placed together with the items, they are my latest product. One of them is a type of mushroom that grows by feeding on flesh and blood. They have 3 breeds. The first is crossbred with wheat and can be mixed into a mushroom powder that can be used to make bread. Another has the characteristic of being mixed with milk, allowing milk to be drawn from them. You want Klein to tell Derek to milk a fucking mushroom? I exposed you now, Pushkar? Yeah, yeah, you got me, dude. Oh, cooked. Yeah, my bad. It's over. Yeah. Milk those mushrooms, truly. The last is crossbred with fish. They come with a refreshing taste and has a thick, meaty texture. The thing to take note of is that they are absolutely not to be eaten raw. They need to be cooked in 90 degrees Celsius hot water for at least 5 minutes so as to kill any living characteristic. Just a square hairline, a wig line, of course. Otherwise, regardless of what it turns into, it will absorb the flesh and blood around it, including human organs. Another point, it is unable to distinguish between normal flesh and monster flesh, nor can they deal with the latter properly. They will accumulate with the corresponding toxicity and madness. I think they will experience different mutations because of the different types of monster flesh, producing different kinds of dangers. However, I wasn't able to verify that because I lack a sufficient number of monster corpses. If you were to obtain one while adventuring, please mail it to me. I just need a tiny amount. Why not? You know, ancient people practically lived on milk. Ancient people also did all sorts of nasty shit, Dr. Z. Doesn't mean we just follow them. What do you mean? As for the other problems that might exist, I'm not sure either. It's still a prototype, preventing further attempts on observation. I wish you all the best to have a bountiful adventuring time. Sincerely, your friend, Frank Lee. Dude, my goat, Frank, dude. What a guy. He might destroy the world one day, but he's a good friend. I do him on that Liver King psychosis. Okay, listen, that Liver King diet is crazy, okay? Back then milk was way cleaner than water. Well, yeah, that's why in the US for like decades they just drink beer instead of water because it was like water you might give you cholera, but beer based. Man, those were the days, you know. You get out from 4th grade and you're like, "Mom, I'm thirsty," and your mom goes, "Here's a fucking tanker of beer, kid. Go nuts." And you're like, "Damn, it's great to be alive." After putting down the fountain pen, Frank read his reply in its entirety before folding it in satisfaction. He found a gold coin and placed it on the letter. He summoned the messenger At this moment, he subconsciously surveyed his surroundings and was stunned. Then Frank moved to the nearby pile of soil out the door. Back in the day. Stop. No. In Empress Borough, the opulent villa of Earl Hall, Audrey was hiding in her room, observing the glass bottle in her hand. In the bottle was a translucent, colorless, sticky liquid. It was like a mirror when still, completely reflecting everything in its vicinity. But when undulations happened, a tiny whirlpool would silently spin underneath the surface. It was none other than the hypnotist potion she had just concocted. Let's go, baby! Audrey had successfully digested her psychiatrist potion and planned on advancing to Sequence 6 before Backlund's psychology alchemists contacted her. That's why the liver transplant surgery is so much more advanced than similar surgeries? Exactly. Exactly. You get it. Bro, we needed, you know when the first person to die of liver failure was? Fucking 8,000 years ago. Like, as in, on Monday, they figured out how to make wine, and by Friday, people's livers were failing. They're like, fuck, dude. Holy shit. Goated. Alcohol, remember kids, alcohol is God's apology for making humans self-aware. At that moment, her soul body, After using placate to quell her mental state, Audrey bit down on her lip, raised the bottle, and downed the potion. Ankh is 8,000 years old. Yes, truly. After a brief chill, she suddenly felt her mind about to explode. At that moment, her soul body, astral projection, and ether body were being absorbed and assimilated by her body of heart and mind. I still don't know what any of these words mean. How do you know you weren't there, or were you? Unc was there when beer was made? No, Ramiro, I wasn't there when beer was made. I was there when wine was made. You dumbass. Her entire person was like an amalgamation of pure thoughts that began churning. She felt this boundless sea of collective subconscious which connected all living creatures, and she sensed the spirituality sky that stood in contrast. Having experienced the sense of alarm she received during her psychiatrist advancement, Audrey didn't panic. She ultimately maintained a sliver of lucidity and curbed her instincts to fuse into the sea, and allowed her consciousness to spread out in all directions before contracting. After an unknown period of wine came earlier than beer, so you were there for beer also. Okay. By that logic, Ramiro, you were there when fucking the iPhone was made? No, motherfucker. You weren't in the room with Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs? Yeah. You were alive, but that doesn't mean you were present. There's like an implication when like a thing is made and you say like I was there, it like presumably means you were in the room when it was made, not that you were somewhere on this fucking earth. God. Wiz was in Georgia in 6000 BC. I think we called it Babylon back then, Pushkar. Georgia was absolutely not called Babylon. Babylon was Iraq? Iran? And now Wiz was there. I saw him. How old does that make you, Merlin? What do you mean? Back in the day. God, you guys are relentless. After an unknown period of time... Iraq, okay, yeah. After an unknown period of time, she finally found her inner self. She found the back of her hand covered in dense, firm golden scales, and saw that the hair on her shoulders turned luxuriant and heavy, as though they were really made of gold. After the anomalies receded, Audrey quickly recovered. However, she looked in the mirror and found her green eyes appear clear, but deep down there was a strange bottomless whirlpool. It made it difficult for others to shift their gaze from them, easily drowning within them. This is a sign of the dispersing spirituality that has yet to converge. Audrey slowly eased her brows as she smiled. She looked at herself in the mirror and nodded. Audrey, you're a Sequence 6. After she calmed her emotions, she seriously introspected herself to determine her new powers. First, her constitution had received a significant enhancement, be it her strength or agility. It exceeded an ordinary person. I sure hope so, bro. You're sequence 6. How is the modern day wine compared to the first wine was? You know, Pushkar, it's all chemicals nowadays. You know, you taste it and you're like, oh, it tastes so acidic. Back in the day, it was so pure and raw. It was just like, oh, you're just like drinking grape juice. It was great. You recognize this or too late for you? What? Everything is chemical. You're a bitch, Sayura. You're an absolute bitch, okay? Oh, what a fucking dog shit answer to give. She could also form a layer of scales over her skin, largely resisting and reducing any damage. Second was a qualitative change in psychological cue. It became a form of hypnosis. Holy shit. It became a form of hypnosis. It became a form of hypnosis within the non-combatant domain. As long as she made the target focus on something, Audrey could open the door to their body of heart and mind and directly alter their consciousness and affect their subconscious. Hunkbadooning. Bro, I can't... dude, that word actually... Because I kept thinking hypnotic, and I was like... just fucking it up. This way, the true target wouldn't notice that they were abiding by her arrangements, taking actions that didn't match their intentions. Of course, if Audrey's arrangement directly harmed the target's life or something he subconsciously placed great importance to, then the target would produce intense resistance, causing the hypnosis to fail. In addition, if the target had a strong soul and firm body and mind, they would be able to resist the hypnosis. Third, battle hypnotism. Audrey could forcibly hypnotize an enemy, making them do something abnormal, such as attacking their companions or avoiding her. However, such hypnosis could only last a short amount of time, and the target would quickly snap awake. Fourth was psychological invisibility. With one's control of their spirit body, with one's control of their body of heart and mind, allowing one to remain in their blind spot of one's consciousness, she could achieve the effect of invisibility despite standing right in front of them. That's actually really cool. Psychological invisibility. That's very cool. Drunk on ancient wine. Those were the days. By the way, do you guys know this? There's like, it's on record that like, it's either leopards or like jaguars or something will like gnaw away at the roots of a certain tree because gnawing away at that those roots will get them high. It's literally like in our fucking, in like the collective consciousness of all living beings to not want to exist in a sane state of mind because we're like, reality sucks. I want everything that can get me the fuck away from here. No, you guys are so mean. You aren't this mean to... how old is Easy, bro? I feel like he's way older than me, and y'all aren't this mean to him. What the fuck? And dolphins get high on pufferfish? Oh, I feel like someone mentioned this to me. I didn't remember this. And monkeys make wine. Monkeys make wine? Really? Very impressive. My only regret is that I still lack Beyonder powers that can launch direct attacks. Audrey puffed her cheeks in an indescribable manner as she tried hard to converge her spirituality and make her eyes less intoxicating. Wiz, do you know why Audrey took the sequence 6 easier than sequence 7? Because sequence 7 had qualitative changes for her. The pathways that have their qualitative changes at 6 are more likely to lose control of that sequence. Like Seer. I mean, we are all monkeys at the end of the day. Talk about your side of the family, Merlin. Also, they get sap and let it ferment and make it into wine. Seer has qualitative change at 7? Magician? But I thought Klein almost lost control at 6, no? Or was that... Oh, that was 7. Oh, no, you're right, yeah. Try Mad Honey once? Bro, where the fuck do you think I would get Mad Honey? Isn't that made in, like, fucking Nepal or some bullshit or something? How the fuck do you think I'm gonna get that, bro? After eliminating her abnormality, she opened the door and let Susie in. Before long, her lady maid, Annie, knocked on the door and entered. My lady, the church will be organizing a charity party on Saturday for a newly established bursary foundation that targets the poor. They have invited you. Did they invite my parents? Yes, they were also invited, as well as Lord Hibbert. Tell the church I will be participating. Oh, that's so cute. The dark web. Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. Amazon or something? Yeah, you think I can get that on Amazon? Lady maid sounds so wrong? Why? Also, figure out the exact situation with the charity foundation so I can better decide the amount to donate. The world meets justice. In the evening, in the Intes Renzo restaurant. This place is dazzling, much prettier than the living rooms and activity rooms of many nobles. Forrest looked around. Gio grabbed at her coarse blonde hair. This is the style of Intes. It's different from us. It might look pretty, but it lacks substance. More likely to lose control at 6 for Klein, because 6 is the highest sequence without a ritual, but for some sequences, it's a qualitative change, so it's like a double negative. Oh, I see. Did they invite my parents? You thought it might be a courtship trap? Oh, clever. I didn't think of that, Dr. Z. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thanks, Romero. How does it lack substance? Look, all those are famous oil paintings and sculptures. Forrest retorted. During this process, she suppressed her voice. As they spoke, she found the private room mentioned by Walter. Forrest directly used the door opening and pulled Gio in. They hid inside the pantry cupboard. How much do you think the 3% shares are worth? Forrest asked. In the morning, she had entered the cathedral with Gio to provide protection. Gio hesitated, at least a couple £1,000. The bishop seemed to place a great deal of importance on the matter. Just wanted to confirm, did you even read one of my comments? I don't think you even know that I'm here since the start. Fuck you. Of course I've read Nightwalker. Anything else? Yes, I read the one you told me about. You're like, oh, Unc, did you forget I mentioned that monkeys make wine before old age? Your memory's gone. Yeah, I read it, you fuck. How about you put a comment of substance and then I will read it out loud? This fucking guy. I'm so mean to him. And I get why he's mean to me. I'm so mean to him. How rich. Donating a couple £1,000 just like that. Why doesn't he save poor people like us? Forrest said poignantly. At this moment, the door rushed open. Dwayne and Macht's family walked inside and took their seat. Gio and Forrest didn't speak any further as they eavesdropped on the chit-chat outside. Suddenly, Gio frowned as though she sensed something before easing her brows. What happened? Forrest asked. Nothing. I was uptight, causing me to overreact. At that moment, Klein put down his fork and knife, glancing to the side with a normal expression. Well, in his eyes, which lacked spirit vision, activated a blonde, red-eyed head which appeared out of the void. Klein faintly caught the scent of milk, wheat, and fish. The corners of his mouth twitched as he secretly reached out his left hand to grab the letter, and sitting in the other 3 seats were Macht, Rihanna, and Hazel. Klein stuffed the letter into his pocket without anyone noticing as the waiter walked out of the pantry and served the dishes to the 4 customers. Among the dishes, 2 of them were butter-fried mushrooms. Upon seeing this, Klein felt disgusted. I can't, unfortunately. Listen, members, I just want you to know, if you hit the Unk emoji now, you're inadvertently agreeing with Nightwalker. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, you know, think about your actions. See, username. See, I would expect that of username, of course, yeah. Thunder, you bitch. Ah, alright, I tried. A runaway horse. Oh no, I just made it worse. Never mind. There's still humanity in members. No, god damn it, you're supposed to be like demigods. You aren't supposed to relate to them anymore. You're supposed to go, ugh. Yeah, whatever. I'm so mean. Yeah, you know what? I deserve all the unk bullshit. I am very mean. Thankfully, it's not a mushroom dish I ordered, or else it would have been a waste of a dish. Reject humanity. Return to monk. True. Despite believing that he no longer was affected by the trauma inflicted on him by mushrooms, the smell that came from the latter successfully made him suffer a relapse. Middle child Nightwalker, oldest child Milos, youngest child Milos, oldest child Romero. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Why you gotta give tough love to your middle child? Pushkar, you know this, right? The middle child does not get the tough love. The middle child gets ignored. That's what they get, okay? This is canonically true. Someone who is a middle child, confirm, okay? Middle children get ignored, and that's what I'm doing. Sharon. Please, give me another cup of water, Klein said, turning his head to the waiter. We've seen Easy pregnant too. It all fits. At the same time, he pressed down his clothes and got up while expressing his apologies before heading to the bathroom attached via the private room. It was opposite the pantry, placed on either side of the main door. Hiding in the cupboard, Forrest heard the footsteps approach the bathroom. Bathrooms open and closed. She couldn't help but lean into Gio's ear and whispered, "It's the second time. They've only been here for 30 minutes, and Dwayne has already gone to bathroom twice." Can confirm. Thank you, Merlin. The first time was clearly to pee. If it's for the same reason, that means this gentleman's kidneys, bladder, or prostate is problematic. He's coming out. He really only went in to pee. He seems to drink a lot of water usually and go to the bathroom. It's difficult being a tycoon, even more so being a good-looking tycoon. What has that got to do with you? Gio rolled her eyes. Focus. We're on a mission. Get it together. Are you the youngest? Yeah, I'm the youngest, Pushkar. Of only two, though. Like, it's me and my older brother, so. I should give... Jesus Christ, username. What the fuck? Also, that bodyguard of the Member of Parliament named Mach seems pretty strong. He's probably a Beyonder. Be careful. Force had no reason but to suppress her desire to chat as she shrank back, regarding the area outside without being wary of others passing through the walls. How unprofessional. We'll chat later. Is Red Devil the creepy freaky uncle? I feel like he's too childish to be an uncle. I'm thinking he's like the drug addict cousin. How does that feel? At that moment, Klein had to return to the table and sat back in his seat. He drank a mouthful of ice water, sipped on some white wine, and said to Macht, having been here in Backland for nearly 2 months, I've been busy getting used to the environment and haven't found time to start a new business. Every day I wake up and see money flowing out without any coming in. It's about time I do something. I can empathize with that, Macht said. In the beginning, I was in such a stage as well. How much money do you have to spare? I can introduce you to some friends for a partnership. I'd be able to spare no more than £20,000 at the present. You're richer than I imagined, Macht said. Under normal circumstances, a tycoon who had a liquidity of £20,000 was someone who was definitely, whose overall wealth was definitely on the order of hundreds of thousands of pounds. Not giving Dwayne a chance to be humble, he casually said, "Didn't you just buy 3% of the Klein Company shares? You can pledge it for at least $10,000. That should give you some liquidity." Klein smiled. I've already donated those shares to the church. I plan to establish a bursary foundation targeted at the poor. You donated it to the church? Macht had yet to meet the priests or the bishops at the cathedral today, and he had been out and yet to receive an invitation, so he wasn't aware of the new development. Red's the one you all avoid in the family gatherings? Unless you want a little bit of that puff puff and then you go to him, you know what I mean? This all feels like cartel family shit. Don Wiz with his 3 kids and family. Why you gotta make it weird, Pushkar? Now, Red Devil has Ankh energy. He's trying to teach me networking and him saying shit like, youth is corrupt. Well, in fairness, with his experience with the youth, I feel like he has a direct dial to the corruption, you know what I mean? Like, who else but anyone of the Abyss pathway would know about corruption better than them, you know? They're right at the source. Ma'am Rihanna and Hazel, who were enjoying her food, looked up as well, casting their gaze at Dwayne. At their level, it wasn't uncommon to have friends donate £10,000, but very few could donate that much in one go. And among these few people, there might not even be one who's willing to donate such an amount. No, there was now one. Dwayne Dantes. The Ankh emoji is the best. It's not the best. You guys are so mean. We have such good Pepe emojis. Use them. Come on. We have such good Pepe ones. Stop spamming that. Yes, Klein nodded with his usual expression. If not for the goddess's blessings, I long would have died in the southern continent when I was young. If I had the chance to attend school and study, perhaps my life would have been different. Bald Wiz in the thumbnail, please. No username! Thus, I wish to give those children who desire to change their fate some hope. Your character is as amazing as your generosity, Rihanna lowered her cutlery and praised. Hazel also nodded. The way she looked at Dwayne turned significantly gentler. Seeing her parents begin an idle conversation over the charity, she excused herself and walked to the bathroom. When she arrived at the door, she was just about to turn right when she suddenly turned her head and looked at the cupboard beside the pantry. She frowned silently, revealing a look of confusion, before retreating her gaze and entering the bathroom door. Hey, I'm just saying. Okay? If you guys really want that bald emoji, we only need 2 more members. I'm sorry, shameless plug, okay? Dinner came to an end after the dishes and dessert were served. The 4 people left the private room and met the bodyguards outside with their servants. They were preparing to return home. At this moment, Hazel suddenly paused. I think I dropped my ear studs inside. Sorry about that. Please, wait a moment. I'm not removing Susie, Pushkar. I'm not doing it. I don't care. Nope. Without waiting for Ma'am Rihanna to instruct the waitress to do the search, Hazel turned around and circled around the bend and returned to the room she had been in. Hazel lowered her hand and held her left ear and directly entered the connected pantry until she was in front of the cupboard. She then placed her hand on it. She then planned on opening the door to the cupboard at an extremely fast speed. Turned Susie into a characteristic. Can you switch it to the scary Manhwa Susie then? I don't know that one username. If you can send it to me, I'm happy to do that. I feel like with how much I adore Susie, she definitely deserves to be there. What version of her we can choose. That's no problem. Hazel lowered her hand and directly entered the connected pantry until all she found until she was in front of the cupboard. She then placed her hand on it. She had planned on opening the door to the cupboard at an extremely fast speed, but after some thought, she decided to be cautious by holding onto her necklace with one hand and turning her body sideways to prevent any sudden attacks from whatever was inside. As she held her breath, Hazel took the chance while the waiter was clearing the table to suddenly open the door and exposing whatever was inside. Hazel, apart from some spare cutlery and tablecloth, there was nothing else. Hazel once again wore a look of puzzlement, as though she couldn't believe the scene before her eyes. I clearly sensed something very valuable inside, she muttered under her breath, and quickly closed the door before her maidservant chased up. That girl noticed us? Forz whispered. If she hadn't used door opening and snuck out from the back of the cupboard, she and Gio would have been discovered. I remember that you didn't speak or move when she was about to head to the washroom. Gio was confused as well. Maybe she's a beyonder and has a kind of intuition. Mr. Dwayne sure leads a difficult life. He often encounters power struggles between tycoons and nobles, while having a butler that secretly studies black magic at home. Furthermore, there are beyonders with mysterious powers living nearby. By the way, what's her name? Hazel. Gio, who was looking for Dwayne's carriage, prepared to hide underneath when her gaze froze. Force, look, that person's acting strangely. Force traced her gaze and saw a middle-aged man in a formal suit. He was pacing along the side of the streets, looking very anxious and frustrated. How is he acting odd? Force replied. He's dressed as a decent gentleman, but his shoes are dirty. It's as though he hasn't shined them in a while. As you know, Backland is covered in dust. Also, you would touch the area underneath his armpit. I bet that there's an underarm holster there. Apart from that, his expressions and attitude imply he isn't normal. They're coming out soon. I'll head to the carriage first. Watch that person and ensure that Dwayne is protected. Alright. As Force found it troublesome, she also found it rather interesting. Hence, she retreated to an area that concealed her, as she observed the area of the restaurant. After nearly 30 seconds, Dwayne and the Mox family walked out, bidding each other farewell. I sent you all, though I could find a version... Only find a version, not OG. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll take a look in a second, username. At this moment, a two-wheeled carriage charged out from the end of the street at an extremely fast speed, as though it would topple over at any moment. The horse that pulled the carriage wore a rabid look, as though it had been alarmed. It charged straight for the Intes Renzo restaurant. Of Mach's two bodyguards, one went forward in a bid to subdue the horse, while the other protected the member of parliament and his family. At this moment, the middle-aged man who had been loitering around approached from the back and drew a revolver and aimed it at Mach's head. Klein's right hand was raised indescribably before he retracted it without doing anything. He nimbly performed a jump, dodging the horse, and at the same time, Force, who was hiding elsewhere, clenched her palm gently and pulled it to the side. The assailant's leg went limp, as though he had stumbled over something and fell to the ground, failing to pull the trigger. In his haste, he pressed down with one hand and immediately leapt up, planning to shoot wildly. However, when he squeezed his trigger, he didn't feel any feedback. His revolver had been dropped by Hazel's feet. Following that, he and the runaway horse were subdued by the bodyguards. "Why did you attempt to assault me?" Mach asked. The middle-aged man immediately laughed. "It's you! It's all because of you and the others. You talk about the pollution, wanting things like anthracite. My factory is going bankrupt. My child will die, and my wife committed suicide." Wah wah. I'm a bad person, dude. Oh, do you guys like this one better? I mean, we can find the non-meme version. What's the best place you've gone for a trip? We took a cruise a long time ago. I went to the Bahamas. That was quite nice. Although the place, I'm not a huge fan of cruises. I just don't like being on water for that long. Like this one, but I can find the non-fucking, thingamajig version without the fucking emoji. I mean, yeah, the meme version is fine, but I'm sure I can find the regular one. That's good, yeah. Yeah, we can replace Susie with this one if you guys want. Whichever one. The other one's just cute. I feel like with all the other bullshit we have, I feel like a cute one is good. Bald whiz. Nope. Nope. Either you guys can get it or you can't. Okay, that's it. There's no swapping around of emojis. Bro really said it. Yes, I did, Thunder. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, there's the poll. Username, beware of spectator, the spectator. Man, I feel like so much has happened, you know, in the last little bit. Bald Wizard. Like I said, bro, you guys can either get it or you can't. That's on you, okay? I have given you the option, despite my dignity, to add a bald emoji, okay? Now, the 2 more members, that's not that bad, okay? We'll probably get that in like a week's time anyway. But if y'all want to hurry it up, that's on you guys, okay? My hands are up, not my problem. The fact that I gave you the option is my courtesy. As you know, I'm a truly generous person, really. Yes? Okay. That's fine. I'll replace the Susie with the new Susie. As for the bald emoji, that's on you guys, okay? Okay. All right. On that note, I think we'll call it. Whew. Man, I actually do like this setup. I do. I like this setup. This is nice. Looks cool. Plus, I can just sit back calmly, you know? Yeah. All right. I think we'll call it there, guys. I'll catch all of you in like probably 12 hours or so. If you guys want to add the bald emoji on the Discord, feel free to do that right now. But as for adding it on YouTube, we'll do that whenever that happens, okay? God. All right, that's it. Yeah. Are you going to do an abrupt ending as usual? What do you mean abrupt? We always talk about it. I always say like, all right, guys, I think we'll leave it there. What do you mean? Just say bye and go. Yeah, I always, yeah. I listen, I don't know what a good fucking ending for a stream is. How does easy end it? Should we talk for like 10 minutes before we let you guys go? I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna do an abrupt ending. Get fucked. Okay. I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day or nights. I'll catch y'all in, like I said, like 12-ish hours. Stalls the ending like 50 times. How was that better? I'm asking genuinely. I don't know. All right. I'll catch y'all in like 12 hours. Have a great rest of your day or nights. And thank you guys so much for popping by. Bye, guys.